Her career teaches us that success is not linear, that failure is not fatal, and that reinvention is available to each and every one of us. So whether you're climbing, pivoting, or rebuilding, Reshma's story is this incredible proof that the path forward isn't about perfection, it's about purpose.
Before we start the show, I have a quick question for you. Is your resume stuck in the rejection pile? At Resume Assassin, I create powerful resumes that showcase your skills, experience, and achievements, getting you noticed by recruiters. I'll also optimize your LinkedIn profile, transforming it into a magnet for opportunity. Visit resumeassassin.com today and take charge of your job search. Visit resumeassassin.com.
When you hear the name Reshma Saujani, you might think of Girls Who Code, a movement that has reached hundreds of thousands of young women, reshaping how girls view themselves in the world of technology. But behind the polished panels and the viral TED Talks is this deeply human story, you guys. It's a story of ambition, public failure, reinvention, and mission-driven leadership. Reshma didn't just build an organization. She rebuilt herself. And her journey isn't just about breaking barriers, it's about what happens when your biggest bet doesn't pay off and how you rise from that. It's about how you find purpose in rejection and how one moment of clarity can lead to an entirely new calling. Today, we'll go beyond the headlines and dive into what I would say is the lesser known chapters of Reshma Saujani's life, ones that hold powerful lessons for anyone navigating a tough time in their career. Reshma's story begins before she was born. With her parents, they were Indian refugees who were expelled from Uganda by a dictator in the 1970s, and they arrived in the US with almost nothing, settling in the Midwest to rebuild their lives, completely from scratch, I should say. Growing up in this household, Reshma absorbed two powerful lessons: the value of hard work and the unshakable belief that this country could offer opportunity if you worked for it. As a child in suburban Illinois, she felt both proud and different. Her upbringing was just steeped in tradition, but her aspirations reached just far beyond the boundaries of her community. She dreamed big, inspired by the American dream. Her parents embodied this dream, you guys, but she also felt the pressure to succeed, not just for herself, but for the family legacy she carried on her shoulders. The foundation of resilience and responsibility would come to define her, especially as she ventured into elite institutions and high-stakes spaces where she often was the only woman of color in the room. Reshma's academic path reads just kind of like a dream. Yale University for undergrad, followed by Harvard Law School. But her time in those institutions wasn't without complexity. She often felt like she didn't belong. Imposter syndrome just absolutely clung to her in her lecture halls, in her internships. She was smart, driven, credentialed, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she was playing a part. Like many children of immigrants, she followed a path defined by prestige and safety. Law school was this ultimate badge of honor, a way to make her parents proud and secure a stable future for herself. But even then, a quiet voice inside her was nudging her toward something else, something more aligned with impact and justice. Her identity was still forming, She was learning how to walk the line between honoring her roots and forging this path that felt really authentic to her. And it would take failure on this really massive scale for her to fully find her voice. After law school, Reshma took this path into the world of corporate law and finance. On paper, she was this huge success. She was smart, accomplished, and rising really quickly. But beneath the surface, she felt hollow. The work didn't feed her soul. She wanted more than financial stability. She wanted purpose. And she wasn't finding it in legal briefs or boardroom strategy. She began to question everything she had worked for. The dream she had chased for decades now felt like someone else's idea of success. And that internal dissonance became too loud to ignore. And she realized that she wanted to make a change, not just live comfortably. And so she did something most people only talk about, right? She walked away from this prestigious career to enter one of the most unforgiving arenas imaginable: politics. In 2010, Reshma made national headlines by becoming in 2010, Reshma made national headlines by becoming the first Indian American woman to run for Congress. She entered the race with hope, optimism, and this belief in change. But she was also going up against a powerful incumbent in New York City, and her campaign was scrappy, and her inexperience showed, and she lost pretty darn badly, and not just in numbers, but emotionally, financially, and her reputation. And she had completely emptied her savings, left her job, and poured everything into this campaign. When it ended in defeat, she was absolutely crushed. She questioned whether she had made a terrible mistake. But here's where the story gets really interesting, you guys. Stick with me here. Instead of hiding from this failure, she learned. Instead of hiding from the failure, she leaned into it. She examined it. And in that space of reflection, something extraordinary happened. She saw that would become her next mission. During a school visit on a campaign trail, she noticed a computer lab just full of boys. No girls in sight, you guys. And that image stuck with her. It was the spark that she needed. Most people run from failure. Reshma used it as fuel. That moment in the computer lab became a point of fixation for her. Why in the heck weren't girls in the room where tech innovation was happening? Why weren't they being given the same chance to code, to lead, to build? She didn't have a background in computer science or tech, but that didn't stop her at all. Instead of returning to law or trying to mount another political campaign, she chose to build something entirely new: Girls Who Code. The idea was super simple, you guys. Empower girls to see themselves as creators, not just consumers of technology. The courage to pivot so drastically from the ashes of political defeat, it taught her that it's okay to fail, but it's not okay to ignore what sets your soul on fire. Reinvention wasn't just a choice, it was the only way forward. Launching a nonprofit in tech as a non-technical woman of color is no small feat, you guys. But Reshma's storytelling, her clarity of the mission, and political grit just helped her break through. And she didn't just want to learn how to code. She wanted the girls to change the face of the entire industry. Girls Who Code started with a small pilot program and just this absolutely enormous dream. And within a few years, it became this nationwide movement. Companies like Google, Facebook, and AT&T lined up to support it. thousands of girls passed through its programs, many going on to major in computer science and enter the workforce with this just newfound confidence. But it wasn't just about code. It was about courage. Reshma created a space where girls could see themselves in places that they had never even been allowed to imagine before. And that shift in perspective has generational ripple effects. Reshma didn't lead like a Silicon Valley CEO. She led like someone who had failed publicly, loved deeply, and wanted to build something lasting. Her leadership style was open, vulnerable, and value-based. She wasn't trying to maximize shareholder value. She was trying to maximize global impact. She made really brave decisions. She said the hard things. She built an inclusive culture in an industry known for the lack of it. And she never lost sight of the mission. Everything, every hire, every partnership, every press appearance was filtered through this lens of, will this help girls see themselves as builders? Her example challenges all of us to rethink leadership, not as dominance, but as service, not as control, but as courage. Even purpose-driven leaders burn out, you guys. And Reshma eventually found herself just absolutely overwhelmed by this massive weight of carrying a mission so much bigger than her and so urgent. There were moments where she felt she was just losing herself again, and this time not to law or politics, but to this relentless service. She began speaking openly about this burnout, modeling what it looks like to lead with boundaries. She took time for her mental health. She allowed herself to slow down, to say no, and to listen inwardly again. This chapter of her story reminds us that even change makers need care, that boundaries are not selfish. They're absolutely necessary for sustainability. In 2016, Reshma gave a TED Talk that would go viral. Teach girls bravery, not perfection. In it, she told a truth so many women recognized: how we are socialized to play it safe, avoid failure, and seek approval. Her call to action was simple, but so powerful. Be brave, not perfect. She turned that talk into a best-selling book and a brand new movement. She challenged women to stop shrinking, to stop waiting until they were 100% ready, and to make it messy, courageous action. This wasn't just about careers. It was about freedom. The brave, not perfect ethos, it's helped countless people rethink their paths, take bold steps, and redefine what it means to live a very full life. Reshma Saujani's legacy is still being written, but one thing is very, very clear. She is a builder, and not just of programs or platforms, but of people, of girls who now believe they belong, of women who are choosing bravery, of leaders who are willing to be vulnerable and values-driven. Her career teaches us that success is not linear, that failure is not fatal, and that reinvention is available to each and every one of us. So whether you're climbing, pivoting, or rebuilding, Reshma's story is this incredible proof that the path forward isn't about perfection, it's about purpose. So ask yourself, where are you holding back for fear of failure? What bold move are you waiting too long to make? Maybe today is the day you stop aiming for perfect and choose bravery instead.
Thanks for listening. I will be releasing episodes every Monday, so be sure to subscribe on the platform that you are watching this. give it a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time.